This is Atlas 2, a brand new way to organize and use your sample library using artificial intelligence. It can be a hassle nowadays to find the right sounds for your production. Dragging in every single drum sound one by one can take a lot of time and actually be limiting yourself, where with plugins like Atlas 2, that problem is no more. With artificial intelligence aiding you in organizing your samples, you can get all the sounds that you want on a fly by clicking one button. So how does that help us? Well, let's find out. Okay, so if you guys can see the backdrop moving back there, I do have a fan on. It's like 80 degrees in California right now, so I apologize. As you can see, this is what they call a map, okay? Mapping out sounds in which everything has a caption like hi-hat open over there, hi-hat close over here, shaker, tambourine, snare, all your stuff that you would need for modern day production. And even just for one category over here for kick, we've got a deep purple over here and then a lighter blue over here as well. So I wonder how that can really change with the type of kicks. All of the dark purple ones over here kind of feel like more electric style kicks. Like this feels like a real kick from a kick drum. But then over here, also in the deep blue, is going to be more of a longer, drawn out, also made by a synth kick. Oh my god, this kick is it's just an 808. Sounds good though. Now moving on to some of these snares over here, which you can also just click and drag everything and go to a part that you want. Once again, we've got some different color variation over here. Let's see what it does. I was going to say this one feels more like the EDM sort of deal, but these over here, that's very electric style snare. And if you are hearing a huge delay between me clicking this and then the sound playing, that's because it's literally, you can see it over here when I click a sample, it's downloading at that moment. So that's why there's a bit of a delay. But then to here, you get some combinations of different sort of sounds. So here you're combining the clave and rim with something more like, once you get close over here, more like toms. And like a cowbell over here. And then some other things over here are more like sample-based stuff. Different like one-shots for instruments. Like this right here, that sounds like an amazing like R&B like chord. That sounds really good. Which I wonder, I want to see, can I drag multiple ones over here? That's how you do that, by the way. Yes, you can. Okay. So you can drag multiple ones, which I can click on this one and leave it like the normal sample, and then go over here and then go down a couple semitones. Let's go down like 3. That's pretty cool. And as you can see over here, they're all categorized as other. They do have some other spots over here for like a cowbell, the conga, tambourine, clave and rim, and all the other stuff over there. So whenever you hit this button right here, you will get a different one from that other category. And after doing that to all 4, we now have this. So as I kind of glossed over here, this is where you put your samples, and you can actually change the grid to something a bit more complex, like 8x8. That's a lot. I don't think that I would ever need that many sounds, just for my production. Even like a 2x8, or even like a 1x8. Honestly, 1x8 seems more like pleasing to my eye, and actually be able to like keep track of things better, so I might keep it over here on 1x8. And as you can see over here, I don't even have the full version over here. It's not even unlocked or anything, so you can go and test out this product to its full extent for about 14 days. I believe the trial run ends. Let's go and say that I'm lazy over here and I don't want to go and find these samples all by myself, so I can actually use this over here, which I believe they use AI to pick out the samples for you. I believe it's AI that actually helps you like generate certain sounds that sound similar. And say, for example, out of this entire list, you don't really like a whole lot of them, but you like maybe 1 or 2, like I'll keep the kick and the snare. You can hit those lock buttons right there, and then when you hit new kit, everything else but those 2 will change. Ooh. This now sounds a little bit more like a vintage sort of track right here. So I'm going to keep this kit right here. In fact, I am prone to accidentally hitting the refresh button, so I'm actually going to lock all of these. But now we can go on over to the sequencer, okay? And now if you don't have a DAW to put this in, this is basically where you're going to be making the tracks and your patterns. Everything is labeled over here because I only have a 1x8 grid. Some of them are going to be empty. And what tempo are we at? I don't want to be at 120. I want to go down to 85. And if you are used to having a DAW, this should be pretty easy for you. This is a 2-bar loop in halftime. And it's very easy to paint things in like this. See, I don't really like that open hat too much, so I can go down over to the lock icon and then hit refresh, just for that one instrument, and now I have a completely different one like that. Much better. I like that a lot better. And then maybe layer a clap for the every second snare like that. Really couldn't hear all that much. So what I can do is go over to this part right here, and then where was it? It's advanced somewhere. Advanced right here, okay, bottom corner. It's where I'm actually okay with the LFO. If you want to like fade that in for some reason, you totally could. I think I'm fine with that right now. Or if you want to be cut off a little bit shorter, like that, I might use that for like an open hat maybe. What I want to do is increase the gain down over here on the bottom left. And really, the bottom left is all that you're really going to need. I don't really go into the advanced all that much, because even in the bottom over here, if you want to mess with the transients to add some more attack, same thing over here, and then going the opposite direction will help out with doing getting rid of the tail. Now, this is a very, very basic drum pattern over here. So over here is very easy to just paint in items like that and take them away. But if you really want to get more in tune, you can click on this over here and then really add some more variation and stuff like that. But now we're going to really change things up over here and unlock everything. And now we're going to hit new kit altogether. This is why I really like this plugin right here, is that you can really change out sounds on the fly and get a completely different vibe. Like, this sounds some very like industrial stuff right here, which I actually think sounds pretty good. That's really good. I actually like this a lot better than the first pattern that we made. Alright, so now that I've got a drum pattern that I really, really like, it's very easy to export not only the full mix, but also the stems as well. So in the top right over here is going to be the export button, which you can also export the MIDI as well, with the mix down and even the stems. I don't want to do MIDI in this case. For me, whenever I'm creating a drum sample, I want to remain a sample. So I'm going to leave that as the audio. I do want the stems though, that I can mix it properly. I don't want to normalize it, that'll change up the volumes completely. So now I'm just going to hit render. And then going over to my DAW of choice, which for me is obviously FL Studio. And now I can simply highlight everything, drag that on over to my project file. I actually didn't realize there's only a 2-bar loop, that's on me. But that's fine, we can take out certain items here and there and use our sampling skills to make some variation. All right, now normally I like to start with my melodies. Not everyone's like that. I do start with drums sometimes, but for here, I don't really know what kind of track to put behind these drums. And just like that, we've got more variation in our loop now. Now, I'm actually a little bit short on time right now, so I'm just going to go and search for a loop real quick that I could use on top of this. I mean, kinda. Okay, hang on. Let me actually take off my headphones and see what I can do with this. So there are a few things here that Atlas 2 is doing that I think solves a very big problem, and even introduces something that I didn't even know that I wanted. With the ability to hit one button and get a full kit generated for you, you have a lot of different possibilities to add different sounds to your production. With all of these sounds immediately available at my disposal, I was able to create new patterns that I normally would not have otherwise. That and the ability to change out sounds on the fly makes for some truly unique results. In fact, I actually made a couple of different demos here off camera that we can go over. Alright, this first track is strictly my initial test with the plugin, but this highlights something I think that the plugin does very well. Another benefit of Atlas 2 is that it was very easy to create multiple different drum samples for the same track. Also, with the fact that you can export the stems from the drums as well, you can take out sounds and create a lot more variety in a track using 2 different drum samples. So going from one drum sample to another helps keep the listener engaged and help hide the fact that I've got literally no melodies in this track at all. Alright, Alright, so that one again was very bare bones, still good, but I think that there's a lot more room to improve and add different instruments there. But this next demo is a perfect example of something that I would have never created without Atlas 2. So one genre that's always been interesting to me, but I thought I'm never gonna make it, is funk, actually. But with Atlas 2, it loaded up the perfect cowbell, and I decided to make a funk beat. There's a lot that could really be improved with it. It's my first time ever making this sort of genre, but it was fun at the time. But anyway, here's how that went. Alright, so that's all I'm going to have for the Atlas 2 plugin here today. Now, for somebody like me, the most boring part about production is loading up those samples, so this gets rid of that problem as a whole. And then being able to switch out sounds on the fly, export stems, and a litany of other things we've talked about here today in this video, I think the Atlas 2 is definitely worth checking out.